Hi folks, welcome back to KD Creations and Designs. Another video for you here in the kitchen. Kim in front of the camera with Devin behind the camera again. Just bringing you in for a couple of small fun projects. One is a fun project, something I haven't done before. I'm excited to try. I've seen many other people do it and I've heard many other people do it. So I thought I would give it a try and see how exciting it is. And one of those is one of the things I'm going to be doing. Is I'm going to be making some homemade vanilla extract. So I have a bottle here of some vodka, and I have 10 vanilla beans that I ordered. I did order these off Amazon, and I can link them in the description for you. These are vanilla beans from Madagascar. What I've done is I have 5 of these. I don't know if you can see them in there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do at this point is I'm just going to score these vanilla beans. And I have gloves on because I don't know if these are going to stain my fingers, and I have some sewing that I still have to get done today. So I certainly don't want my hands stained while I'm doing that. And I could see that it actually did show up on the package where it looked like perhaps stained them. So what I did is I scored this vanilla bean. I'm going to open it up, pry it open. And this part is kind of hard to show you, especially when I have gloves on here. But I'm actually prying the bean open. And I don't know if you can see that or not. So I've pried the bean open. I'm going to keep going down where I've scored it. I'm going to pry it open. Those 5 beans that I've already put in the jar, you can see at the bottom of the jar that some of the filling has come out of the vanilla bean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and scrape the inside of this bean. And there is the inside of the vanilla bean. And now I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that right in there. Now, I don't know if exactly how other people do it, if they scrape them like this or not, but I'm thinking that if you scrape it a little bit, then you take the shell of it with, of course, there's still some in there. There's some up at the tips and that I wasn't able to get it all. You just drop the bean in there. Now I'm going to put the cap back on this because knowing me, I'll have an accident and that'll go flying somewhere, and we don't need that to happen. So again, I'm going to pry the bean open. And I'm not sure if there is a certain ratio that you use for how many beans to how much vodka. I do know that I've seen people make it, Becky at Acre Homestead, I know she makes hers with spiced rum. I've seen her make hers with spiced rum. Most everybody I've seen makes it with vodka. So I will make mine with the vodka. I don't know, honestly, it was such a long time ago that I've seen Becky make it that I'm not sure if she has, if she actually gutted out the bean or not, or if she just scored it. These ones here, now I'm not sure how this is going to work because it looks as though my little bottle of vodka is filled right up to the brim. So Yeah, this is going to overflow. So give me just a second here because I am going to need to dump out just a touch of this. So I dumped out just a touch of it just to see. And now I'm going to roll the dice here by leaving that open, standing here next to me. But so I have some, so I know some folks have heard of freeze dryers. I, at some point, would love to have one. I simply don't have the space for it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have the space for it. I just, it's an investment. And it's an investment that I just can't make right now. So at some point, I hope to be able to make that investment. In the meantime, what I did do is I know that just about every video I do, I speak about the company Azure Standard. What I did do is I purchased some dried or powdered vanilla, organic vanilla powder. Honestly, I had forgotten I had this. I had the powder. So I think probably tomorrow, I am looking forward to it. I think I'm going to actually see if I can't use that maybe with some heavy cream or some half and half, or maybe even some milk. Who knows? Some sweetened condensed milk, something, because I do like sugar in my coffee. But I'm thinking maybe I will try to use that powder for to make some coffee creamer. I'm not sure if there is a certain proof of the vodka that you need or anything along those lines. I have not heard that there is. What I do know, I actually, to be truthful with you, I bought the cheapest that they had. Just to see how it works. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off, and then I want to show you the powder for the vanilla powder. So I am back again. Again, here is the, so now we're just going to I'm going to set this down someplace, probably over on my pantry shelves. Just going to let it sit there, and I'm just going to keep, it says to keep it in a dark, the beans in a dark place, and once they're opened. I'm not sure if it applies now that they're in the vodka, but I'm not going to get to this for quite some time, so that's okay. It should be really, really strong by the time I get to it. I'm hoping. This is the vanilla extract powder. It's organic. You can see I just took the label right from Azure Standard. As I told you, they buy from companies here within the United States, or they buy ingredients. They buy from companies who might outsource ingredients, but they are all about taking great care to make sure that they are natural ingredients, healthy ingredients for us, and organic ingredients. So this here, this is the powder I told you I was going to use to make some homemade coffee creamer, flavor some coffee creamer. You can use this to add some vanilla flavoring to anything. If you need, you can add this and put this in some milk. You can make it a vanilla milk. You can use this just about any way you would use vanilla extract. If you're going to use it as an extract, then you just got to add something to it to make it in liquid form. And depending on what you're going to add it to make it into a liquid form is how much you would add of this. But what a wonderful staple to have on hand, so then you always have vanilla extract. And as you can see, I have one of my quart canning jars here, my quart ball canning jars, and you can see that it is full. This originated right here in the United States, and it'll tell you that right on the label. This happens to be from Star West Botanicals. So go ahead and check that out. I will link as your standard in the description box, as well as I do on every video, just because they are a phenomenal company. So let me get my mess cleaned up here, and then I'm going to share a dry mix with you that I use when I make my soups. Some of my soups. So let me go ahead and get my mess cleaned up, and I'll be right back with you again. I told you I'd be back with a recipe for a dry soup mix that I have on hand, and it was time for me to actually make some more of this, so I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed the little part about the vanilla extract. This is one of this dry soup mixes that I make. This is for a vegetable mix. I use this here. I add this to water, and I'll add in, my meat, my protein, and then I'll add in a vegetable. A lot of times I will use this I make what they call a hamburger soup. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make up a triple recipe, because I actually am out of it completely. And unfortunately, one of the things that I need for this is nutritional yeast. I do not have any of that, so I will have to add that, and I will make myself a note to pick that up, and I will add it to the jar as we go. You'll notice as well that I have this. This is a pickle jar. My husband has to eat pickles for health reasons, and so because we have to buy them anyways, I use the pickle jars for things like this. Rather than using my canning jars for a lot of that, I use my pickle jars, the pickle jars, for this. Again, it goes back to that saying of reduce, reuse, and recycle. We are reusing it, we're recycling, we're just keeping the chain going with this and saving some money, because now we can use those canning jars to do canning projects. So let me go ahead and get started on this recipe here. The recipes for a single recipe, it calls for 1 cup of nutritional yeast, and so obviously I will add 3 cups to this going forward when I do purchase the nutritional yeast. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and let me start here with the onion powder. Calls for 3 tablespoons, so I'm actually going to put in 9 because I'm tripling the recipe. So there is the onion powder. We need garlic powder, and we're going to need 3 tablespoons of garlic powder because I am tripling the recipe. And I have not tripled this recipe before in one of the pickle jars, so I'm not sure if it's all going to fit. By the looks, it is not. So, and that's okay. We'll figure it out when the time comes. But if I get this part in, at least then I'll be able to go from there to add in the nutritional yeast. So now it calls for sea salt. It's 1 teaspoon. Now, I don't know that it necessarily has to be sea salt. I primarily use Himalayan pink salt, but I'm going to go ahead and follow the recipe. I just happen to have some sea salt here. So it's going to need, the recipe is going to call for 3 teaspoons, seeing I'm tripling it. And if you don't use salt, you can leave it out as well. I have done it that way as well. So now pepper, black pepper. And again, it's going to be 3 teaspoons. Three teaspoons of thyme, and because I am not huge on thyme, I always cut the recipe down, whatever recipe I'm using, and it calls for thyme, I always cut it in half. So I used 2 on here, which is probably more than what I should have, but I did. So there's that. Paprika. It's going to be 3 teaspoons of paprika. I am using regular paprika instead of my smoked paprika. 1, 2, 3. And then it's celery salt or celery seed, whatever it is that you have, either one. I happen to have celery salt, so I am going to use that. It's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric. And then it's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of parsley as well. And I actually did an extra little pinch of the parsley. I love parsley. And as I said, you would need 3 cups of nutritional yeast. So I will put the ingredients up for this here. I'll put it up on the in the description box. You could also add tomato powder for this, so you would have a tomato base to your soup. And I actually was going to do that, and I cannot seem to locate my tomato powder, so must be somebody else went ahead and used it and didn't put it back. That is what the soup looks like. Okay, so as I said, you can add tomato powder to this too. You can add it, you know, by the tablespoon. So for this, you would add 3 tablespoons of tomato powder. This calls for 1 tablespoon of this to 1 cup of hot water. That's what it's going to be. So you can imagine how long this is going to last you if it's 1 tablespoon of this for 1 cup of hot water. So say you're making a couple of mugs of soup for, you know, you and your better half for dinner, or even for the kids for lunch. You figure, okay, so it's going to be 4 cups, maybe 6 cups. So you're going to have 6 tablespoons of this, and this you're still going to have some left over. Now you can clearly see that with this, with putting all of these ingredients in here, I still had room for more if I didn't add the nutritional yeast. You don't have to add the nutritional yeast. I have had this without this, and I may not even add it this time. I do love the smell of this right now. This actually, I think, yeah, truth be told, I think this would be absolutely delicious with maybe mixed in some sour cream, and have it as a dip, as a veggie dip. How wonderful would that be? That would be delicious. Have some fresh vegetables and make your own dip. And there you go. So here is a nice veggie dip or veggie soup mix for you. You could add in, you could use this as just for broth, as vegetable broth. You could also add in some beef powder or chicken powder, bouillon. I get the powder from Azure Standard, so I have a pound of it at a time. Add that in here and add this in, and you have a nice chicken flavor, vegetable flavor. You add a little bit, make a quick, easy meal for yourselves. Pick up a rotisserie chicken someplace from the grocery store. Throw on some noodles or some rice. Especially if one of the little kiddos is not feeling well or whatever, there you go. You have a nice, healthy, hearty, nutritious lunch for them that's going to make them feel better and warm up their bellies on a nice cold day as well. So I hope you folks enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. We appreciate any comments or any feedback that you would give us. If you like the videos we're putting out, please let us know. If there's something else you'd like us to work on or like us to show, please let us know. Be happy to work on it. We do have some craft videos coming up real soon. I'm actually working on the placemat still. That's actually the sewing that I still have to do. So I will be working on that, and we will be talking to you soon. Again, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.